did you hear about that Chinese-American male figure skater? Nathan Chen. Yeah, him. He is such a traitor. Say what now?
Hey guys, it's Jade, and today I am going to be pivoting a bit from anime because I want to talk about one of the biggest events currently going on in the world, and that is the Winter Olympics that is happening in Beijing. Now, I have heard a lot of great things about the Winter Olympics and also some odd and not so good things happening there, but the one I want to talk about is the one I keep reading about and seeing all over social media. It's about 3 specific athletes who are competing in the Olympics, and the common theme that is going on with them is that they are Chinese American athletes who were born in the US. And before I get into it, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified every time I post a new video. Now, with these 3 athletes, you've probably read about them or heard their name at least once with this whole event going on, and their names are Zhu Yi, Arielle Gu, and Nathan Chen. And the common thing is that they were all born in the US and they're Chinese American athletes competing in the Olympics. And all 3 of them are getting interesting and various treatment on social media, especially on Weibo, which is Chinese equivalent to Twitter. But the first one I want to talk about is Zhu Yi, and she was the first one I read about as well. So Zhu Yi, she's a figure skater. She's only 19. She was born in the US, and she decides that she's going to be representing China in the Olympics. And in fact, she actually changed her US citizenship to become a Chinese citizen, and good on her. That is her choice. I have no problem with it. And before the Olympics, I did read that there was like a lot of hype for her. People were excited about it until it got to the Olympics, where she did terribly. She fell twice, she lost, she didn't win a medal, and she even caused like China to go from like 3rd to 5th place, I think. And right immediately after her event, Chinese Twitter did not wait a single second to talk about what had happened. Literally, they were relentlessly slamming her all over social media, throwing about questions like where her loyalty lies, like is she really loyal to China? And people were questioning why was she even chosen to represent China in the Olympics. But the main one that I saw, and the one that I just keep seeing being thrown around as like the main problem, is people questioning why she was even chosen to be representing China, because she was born in the US, so she shouldn't even like be allowed to do so. Now for Zhu Yi, I can't even imagine the pressure and overwhelming emotion she is feeling, being hated on all over Chinese Twitter. And I feel so bad because for me, with ballet, when I performed on stage, and performing in front of people in general, obviously I've never performed on the scale of the Olympics. Just like having people watch you perform is kind of nerve-wracking, and there's a lot of pressure that comes with it. So I can't even imagine, let me wait for this truck to pass by. So I can't even imagine the pressure she's feeling, having not only her representing China and having all China watching her perform, but also having the world watching the Olympics, watching her perform, and just seeing how bad she did. I did read that she felt embarrassed and sad about it, and that makes sense. I think the person that is most devastated about it is her, because she's the one that's going to have to like relive that in her head and go through everything that has happened. Aside from people talking about how bad she did, the main problem that they're having is that she's an athlete born in the US that is representing China, and they don't think that should be allowed. And I mean, that is a valid argument to make in itself, because it makes sense for wanting a local athlete from China to represent China. That makes total sense. That's like most cases with teams in the Olympics. But I have a hard time believing that that is actually the problem that they have, because there is another athlete competing in the Olympics, and her name is Arielle Gu. She is a freestyle skier. She's only 18. She is also, like Zhu Yi, born in the US. She's a Chinese American athlete, and she decides that she's going to represent China. But we don't know if her like citizenship is just like Zhu Yi, because every time people ask her about it, she dodges the question, and you can only assume that she's probably still a US citizen. But the difference between her and Zhu Yi is that Arielle Gu won gold in her competition, in her event. And people all over China are praising her to the heavens, like literally putting her on hero status, and they are so proud of her. They're praising her on all ends, literally rolling out the red carpet for her. But like, let's look at this for a second because something's not adding up. Zhu Yi, okay, born in the US. She's Chinese American. She got her citizenship changed to Chinese citizen, and she is competing for China. Then we have Arielle Gu, born in the US, Chinese American. Don't know her citizenship, so I'm only assuming that she's still a US citizen. She's representing China. But they are both treated completely different on social media, and why? Because if we're looking at the facts here, China, you guys are no different from us here in the US. You like winners, and we are following the gold because it didn't really matter whether or not Zhu Yi was born in the US. You don't like her because she didn't win the gold, and you're just using that as an excuse because it's plainly obvious. Because if she had won gold, you would probably be praising her as much as you're praising Arielle. And there is no problem with wanting winners. Here in the US, we love winners. We like to be number one in everything. But honestly, you guys should really stop using the whole Zhu Yi born in the US as the main problem you have with her. You just don't like her because she didn't win the gold. But aside from those two, the problems doesn't even stop there. Because there is another athlete, and his name is Nathan Chen. He was born in the US. He's a Chinese American athlete, and he also won gold. Yet, all over Weibo or Chinese Twitter, he's being labeled as a traitor. Why, you may ask? It is because he is representing the US. And honestly, being in the US, we are all very happy and very proud of Nathan for winning the gold. Like, USA, big, huge round of applause. We're very happy about it. But it's wild to me that all over Chinese Twitter, they are calling him a traitor. Like, you guys can't be claiming my man as a traitor because he was never yours to begin with. So let him go. You never had him. But it's clear to see with all three of these athletes, the only thing that really mattered is if they were going to be representing China, they must win the gold or they will be treated the way Zhu Yi has been treated. If they won gold, they're treated like Arielle. And if you won gold but you're not representing China, you're going to be treated the way Nathan's being treated. And honestly, every time I read about this or hear about this whole situation with all these athletes, this is literally what I envision it as.
Oh my god, did you hear the news about Zhu Yi? Oh yeah, she literally fell, not once, but twice. I mean, it happens. Anyway, it says that she was born in the US. Yeah, and let's be real, that shouldn't be allowed because is her loyalty really with China? Because she threw that short program. Exactly. I mean, she did change her citizenship, so she's actually a Chinese citizen representing China. Still, she was born in the US. Other than her, did you hear about Arielle Gu? Oh my gosh, I love her. She's doing China proud by winning that gold. You do know that she was born in the US just like Zhu Yi? Except, unlike Zhu Yi, we don't know if she's a Chinese citizen, so we can only assume she's still a US citizen since she doesn't like talking about it. Yeah, so? She's just embracing her cultural roots. Yeah, so was Zhu Yi. No, it's completely different. Okay, but aside from those girls, did you hear about that Chinese American male figure skater? Nathan Chen. Yeah, him. He is such a traitor. Say what now? Oh my gosh, I completely agree. It's almost insulting, like he needs to get out of China. Wait. How is he a traitor? What do you mean, how is he a traitor? He is literally Chinese American, just like Arielle Gu, except he decides that he's going to be winning gold for the opposing team. In my book, that is called a traitor. So you're telling me that Nathan Chen, a Chinese American athlete, born and raised in the US, decides to represent the US, again, where he was born and raised, is a traitor to China. Exactly. What?
Now, if that confused you, you are correct, because it makes no sense. Using US born as the problem is invalid at this point. It only matters whether or not they had won gold and if they're representing China. That is the only problem. But honestly, with these athletes, if I had anything to say to them, Zhu Yi, you did your best. Obviously, you trained for the moment, and I'm sorry that it didn't go the way that you hoped it would have gone. I feel so bad for you, and honestly, Chinese Twitter, you guys need to like give her a break, man. I think she's dealt with it enough. I think she's hard on herself the most compared to how hard you guys are on her. And Eileen Gu and Nathan Chen, congratulations on your win. I'm sorry to Nathan that you are being treated or labeled as a traitor, even though you were never China's to begin with. But we are very happy here that you had won gold because USA. But I mean, overall, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about this whole situation? Because I think it's quite odd and weird, and the whole US born is not even the problem anymore. Like, we can all agree on that. But aside from that, are you guys watching the Olympics? Are all of you guys keeping track of the Olympics? If you are, what do you think so far? Are you guys keeping track on specific athletes? For me, I am not religiously watching the Olympics, but I do watch a lot of the highlights. I do read a lot of the news that are happening about it. I do watch a lot of the events on YouTube, but there's a lot going on with the Olympics, especially this one specifically because it is in the midst of a pandemic. But in the end, that is all I have for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.